And at the time, your husband was a punk musician, and you
Yep.
were traveling a bit with him as well. Is that right?
He's a punk musician who became a librarian. So he's of that small subculture of the punk rock librarian. There's quite a few of them out there actually.
Oh, that's gotta come in handy when you're writing young adult novels to have a librarian right there in the house.
It's helpful because he's a researcher, so he helps with research, and because I write about music so much, music weaves in and out of my YA books, he's incredibly helpful for that kind of thing too.
And when you write a book, do you create a playlist?
Sometimes I don't create a specific playlist. What winds up happening is I just listen to the same thing over and over again. And I'll listen to the same music over and over again. So that becomes my playlist. And then sometimes I'll create a playlist after the fact that actually sort of evokes the book. And we have one for Frankie and Bug that we sort of created that's music that's mentioned or music that feels of the book. But it's not necessarily, I definitely don't do a playlist when I'm writing, because certain days I will need complete silence and certain days I'll just want like a certain kind of mood music that will get me emotionally where I need to be to write, and I never know what that's going to be ahead of time.
So when we're talking the same music, are we talking like a single song that always puts you into like a hypnotic trance that, oh, I'm in the story?
Different for every book. So with If I Stay, when I sat down to write, every single time I would play that song Falling Slowly from Once, which I had just seen, we're going back to like 2008 here. And I had just seen that. And so every time I played that song, it would make me cry. I don't know why. It's not a sad song. It's just sort of melancholy, and it would put me in the mood I needed to be. So that was If I Stay. I think for other books, I would listen to, there was like, for just one day, I'm dating myself again. I remember I listened to Adele a lot. When I was writing We Are Inevitable, the Talking Heads come into play, and I found myself re-listening because I'm a huge Talking Heads fan, but it's been a couple of years since I've really sort of sat down and played album after album. And so I kind of wound up playing like Talking Heads 77 and, the different Fear of Music, all my favorite albums. I would just play those sort of over and over again as I was working.
And with, you mentioned Falling Slowly, have you seen The Last Man on Earth with the Jason Sudeikis and Will Forte doing the duet of that song to each other?
No, I need to.
Worth looking up. It's a comedic version. Unfortunately, it was so funny that every time I hear that song, I can only think of their
Got it. Yeah, well, I mean, they can do that. Jason Sudeikis, man, he's having a year.
Yeah, I need to catch up on Ted Lasso. I'm thrilled that
they're. Ted Lasso kept me afloat last year.
So, is there a particular song for Frankie and Bug?
I made a list after, and now I've been listening to the list, so it's very sort of 80s centric, and so I think there was sort of Bronski Beat. I can't remember the name of the song off the top of my head. Talking Heads again, Psycho Killer. Pet Shop Boys, so it really, Duran Duran, like it really did reunite me with a lot of this sort of music from my youth, because Frankie and Bug is set in the 1980s, which is when I was a kid, which makes it historical fiction, which cracks me up. But it was once again, when I was listening to it, it really just, it brings you back. I mean, that's one of the things I love about music, similar to smell, is like you can just hear a song or you can smell something and it's like a time machine. It's amazing. So I really did find when I was listening to those songs, composing the Frankie and Bug playlist, that it sort of catapulted me back to the 80s as much as writing the book did.